Seneca, in full. Lucius Annay Seneca, by name Seneca the Younger, born c. 4 BCE, Cordoba, now Cordoba, Spain, died 65 CE, Rome, Italy, Roman philosopher, statesman, orator, and tragedian. He was Rome's leading intellectual figure in the mid-1st century CE and was virtual ruler with his friends of the Roman world between 54 and 62, during the first phase of the Emperor Nero's reign. The performer must always be stronger than his task. Loads that are too heavy for the bearer are bound to overwhelm him. This, I say, is the highest duty and the highest proof of wisdom, that deed and word should be in accord, that a man should be equal to himself under all conditions, and always the same. Unblessed is he who thinks himself unblessed. For speech-making at the bar, or any other pursuit that claims the people's attention, wins enemies for a man, but philosophy is peaceful and minds her own business. I now warn you not to drown your soul in these petty anxieties of yours. If you do, the soul will be dulled and will have too little vigor left when the time comes for it to arise. The wise man will not upset the customs of the people, nor will he invite the attention of the populace by any novel ways of living. While he puzzles over increasing his wealth, he forgets how to use it. He collects his accounts, he wears out the pavement in the forum, he turns over his ledger. In short, he ceases to be master and becomes a steward. And as long as nothing satisfies you, you yourself cannot satisfy others. Divine seeds are scattered throughout our mortal bodies. For a life spent viewing all the variety, the majesty, the sublimity in things around us can never succumb to ennui. The feeling that one is tired of being, of existing, is usually the result of an idle and inactive leisure. There's thunder even on the loftiest peaks. You squander time as if you drew from a full and abundant supply, though all the while that day which you bestow on some person or thing is perhaps your last. You have all the fears of mortals and all the desires of immortals. The reason is unwillingness, the excuse, inability. Regard everything that pleases you as if it were a flourishing plant, make the most of it while it is in leaf, for different plants at different seasons must fall and die. It is absurd, he says, to run towards death because you are tired of life, when it is your manner of life that has made you run towards death. The happy life depends upon this, and this alone, our attainment of perfect reason. In guarding their fortune men are often close-fisted, yet, when it comes to the matter of wasting time, in the case of the one thing in which it is right to be miserly, they show themselves most prodigal. One day is equal to every day. What is the happy life? It is peace of mind, and lasting tranquility. This will be yours if you possess greatness of soul, it will be yours if you possess the steadfastness that resolutely clings to a good judgment just reached. Great things cannot be bought for small sums. The fool's life is empty of gratitude and full of fears, its course lies wholly toward the future. Rehearse them in your mind: exile, torture, war, shipwreck. All the terms of our human lot should be before our eyes. Hence, every day ought to be regulated as if it closed the series, as if it rounded out and completed our existence. At last, then, away with all these treacherous goods. They look better to those who hope for them than to those who have attained them. The primary indication, to my thinking, of a well-ordered mind is a man's ability to remain in one place and linger in his own company. b. Indeed, as long as you are ignorant of what you should avoid or seek, or of what is necessary or superfluous, or of what is right or wrong, you will not be traveling, but merely wandering. He who suffers before it is necessary suffers more than is necessary. You must linger among a limited number of master thinkers, and digest their works, if you would derive ideas which shall win firm hold in your mind. Everywhere means nowhere. When a person spends all his time in foreign travel, he ends by having many acquaintances, but no friends. Lo, today is the last, if not, it is near the last. Do you ask, what is the proper limit to wealth? It is, first, to have what is necessary, and, second, to have what is enough. Farewell. It is hard to believe, my dear Lucilius, how easily the charm of eloquence wins even great men away from the truth. That from which you are running, is within you. Death is non-existence. I know what it's like. It will be the same after me as it was before me. If death holds any torment, then that torment must also have existed before we came forth into light, but back then, we felt nothing troubling. Your wise man, who is also a craftsman, will reject or choose in each case as it suits the occasion, but he does not fear that which he rejects, nor does he admire that which he chooses, if only he has a stout and unconquerable soul. A man is wealthy if he has attuned himself to his restricted means and has made himself rich on little. We think that death comes after, whereas in fact it comes both before and after. In days of peace the soldier performs maneuvers, throws up earthworks with no enemy in sight, and wearies himself by gratuitous toil, in order that he may be equal to unavoidable toil. If you would not have a man flinch when the crisis comes, train him before it comes. He lives badly who does not know how to die well. Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. If virtue only stands her ground, she cannot be driven from the field, she must either conquer or be conquered. If you find, after having traveled far, that there is a more distant goal always in view, you may be sure that this condition is contrary to nature. What man can you show me who places any value on his time, who reckons the worth of each day, who understands that he is dying daily? For we are mistaken when we look forward to death, the major portion of death has already passed. Whatever years be behind us are in death's hands. The only harbor safe from the seething storms of this life is scorn of the future, a firm stand, a readiness to receive fortune's missiles full in the breast, neither skulking nor turning the back. Wisdom is the perfect good of the human mind, philosophy is the love of wisdom, and the endeavor to attain it. Every individual can make himself happy. External goods are of trivial importance, and without much influence in either direction. Prosperity does not elevate the sage and adversity does not depress him. Even in the longest life real living is the least portion thereof. Our lack of confidence is not the result of difficulty. The difficulty comes from our lack of confidence. Let me indicate here how men can prove that their words are their own. Let them put their preaching into practice. For these two things are, as it were, at opposite poles, good fortune and good sense, that is why we are wiser when in the midst of adversity. It is prosperity that takes away righteousness. If none were happy, none would believe himself unfortunate, however great his troubles. Take away wealth, and gold, and thriving lands with droves of oxen at the plough, how then the spirits of the down-pressed poor would rise? What is misfortune but comparison? He has published the truth abroad that he is most happy who has no need of happiness, and that he is most powerful who has power over himself. It is one thing to understand the merits and the values of facts, another thing to know the precise moment for action, and still another to curb impulses and to proceed, instead of rushing, toward what is to be done. It is bothersome always to be beginning life. Or another, which will perhaps express the meaning better, they live ill who are always beginning to live. You are right in asking why, the saying certainly stands in need of a commentary. It is because the life of such persons is always incomplete. When a soul rises superior to other souls, when it is under control, when it passes through every experience as if it were of small account, when it smiles at our fears and at our prayers, it is stirred by a force from heaven. No man can live a happy life, or even a supportable life, without the study of wisdom. You know also that a happy life is reached when our wisdom is brought to completion, but that life is at least endurable even when our wisdom is only begun. To reduce your worry, you must assume that what you fear may happen is certainly going to happen. If you live according to nature, you will never be poor. If you live according to opinion, you will never be rich. Nature's wants are slight, the demands of opinion are boundless. A kingdom founded on injustice never lasts. Smart men don't marry stupid women.